Exil came up with a new video. League of Legends new mode is amazing, but it's already doomed. Honestly, I'ma keep it a stack chat. I played this mode on PBE. I played it maybe 5 games. Then I played it on live servers. Tops 10 games. Tops. No more. And then I'm back on Summoner's Rift doing Summoner's Rift things. I don't know, bro. This mode didn't get on me. You know? This mode did not grow on me. Now the question is, am I the only one in here?
Do you like the fast-paced action of URF, the
Yes.
smaller team sizes of old game modes like
Yes.
Twisted Treeline, the augments of TFT, the quicker queue times of ARAM, the
Bro, as the State and Second main would say, bro, I would commit genocide only to get Q times like that. Not even capping, bro. And ironically, I would commit genocide to get Q times like that in-game.
casual feeling of modes like Nexus Blitz or climbing the ladder in rank.
Hello, I'm 25 years old man with 2 kids, 2 dogs, and a wife. Jesus Christ, you are smurfing in life. I started playing League 4 months ago and I'm an addict. I hate the game, but I feel like I'm tweaker when I'm not playing. What is wrong with me? That is completely normal phenomenon. What you're feeling is completely normal because this game is based on high dopamine receptors like gambling and old people. You've seen those videos when old people are just living in a moment, smashing the button. League is all about the same, if you're taking it seriously. And of course, since you started 4 months, you're taking it seriously because this game is addictive. Been there, done that. I mean, I've been playing this game since season 3 and it's season 13, split 2. Yeah, I need help as well.
Ranked? Well, the new mode from Riot is trying to do all of these things at once, and it seems that the community is split down the middle. Some players absolutely love it, stating that it has
I haven't had so much fucking fun in years playing League with this new arena mode. Video is fucking amazing. I love it. Thank you, Riot. This game mode is a drug. I mean, I did enjoy URF more when it was released.
changed League forever, and is the best thing to happen to this game since the invention of luck skins.
Honestly, the second best thing after sliced bread and this planet is luck skins. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. If you don't agree with me, just go to champions, you know, just go to champions here real quick. Go to Lux, go to skins, and just do this. You might be thinking, well, it's an anomaly. No, it's not. If it was an anomaly, we wouldn't have so many skins and Lux. Anyway.
Others, though, have said that they tried it a few times, played against Teemo and Heimerdinger 3 games in a row, and don't understand the hype.
That Teemo was me, just saying. Tried 3 games, had no fun at all, don't understand the hype, it's a lame. I mean, you have to get into it. It is unique, that's all I'm gonna say. I think is really bad story. I'm sure people enjoy if you're pre-built with your buddy and you're playing a meta 2v2 comp. Yeah, he has a fair point of meta argument in here. One of the things is so heavily RNG, reliant on energy. Yeah, Played 5 games for the missions, absolutely hated it, and will likely never touch it again. Some people love it, some people hate it. Completely normal phenomenon.
It's business as usual on the internet that the extreme opinions of both sides are the ones that seem the loudest, but in reality there's always a gray area. And I'll state outright before going any further, if you just want to know how I feel about the game, I think it is without question an awesome game mode.
Sure.
But even though I like the mode, I think it's amazing and fun and good for the game, it is absolutely not perfect. And if Arena is going to survive for the long term, we need to talk about it, discuss what it does well, and what it potentially does wrong.
It gets repetitive after some games. Yeah, it does. Same thing can be said about URF. That's why URF is not a permanent mode. Because once you get into URF, you play, let's say, 20 games, you try out the fun combinations, assuming the champions are not banned, and then you realize you're stuck with maybe 5, maybe 6 champions that you're playing on repeat because those champions are most fun.
So let's get into the pros of Arena and what I like about it. On the PBE, I enjoyed the mode a lot, enough to spam games to get into Gladiator, and once it hit live, I continued my passion for it and did it again. Right off the bat, the queue times are fast, getting into a game is quick, you don't even have to select your runes in this mode, and your summoner spells are always the same.
Yeah, these arguments could be made this exactly the same for Wild Rift. Why Wild Rift is the success that it is right now? Fast queue times, shorter games, way shorter games. Not sure about runes and summoners, maybe you don't have to select those, and not sure about the roles, but you get the idea. It's fast and it's efficient.
The only thing the player has to do is pick and ban a champion.
Yep.
This right here is the absolute best part of the experience, irrespective of the balance, the ranking system, the format, or any of those nitty-gritty details. The fact that the player just gets to play League of Legends quickly and easily is a godsend. Summoners.
Speaking of playing League of Legends easily and very fast, Riot is working on what's the mode? Blind, not blind pick. They'll be replacing the blind pick that we have right now. In here we have, hold on, what are the modes? Yeah, we have blind pick. He'll be replacing blind pick with, bro, I don't remember what's the name, but basically you select a champion, select the runes or maybe rolls, and you just go into the game with a small, extremely small queue times. I'm not sure how they're going to balance the matchmaking, but at least that's the idea Riot is working on right now. Quick play. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Rift, as great as it is and as much as I love it, is also one of the most time-consuming and mentally taxing experiences in all of competitive gaming. In order to play a game on Rift, you need to have about an hour to play, 5 to 10 minute queue time, 2 champ select dodges, and a potentially 40-minute game.
You forgot to mention the remake at 3 minutes, and then repeat the first 3 steps again. So that's another 20 minutes, tops.
This is the reason that for so long we have needed something, anything different in the League community. And while it's true that ARAM has filled that gap of quicker games nicely, not everyone likes ARAM, whether it's the format or the fact that you can't pick your champion.
Yeah, it's the ARAM part, the all random part. If I'm getting Lux in ARAM, I'm happy. If I'm getting Zeref, I'm happy. If I'm getting Ziggs, I'm happy. But if I'm getting, let's say, Nafiri, bro, you know, I'm not so excited to play ARAM.
But the average adult player who works in the real world and has real responsibilities has a tough time playing League. Even if they absolutely love the game, the characters, the
adults play this game? What? No fucking way, bro. Only reason I play this game is because I'm making money off of it. That's the same for every single content creator who is in League of Legends. Honestly, gonna keep it a stack, chat. If I wasn't making money off of League, bro, I wouldn't be playing it.
lore in the universe, it's difficult to commit time to it. So many people over the years that I've known have quit playing League not necessarily because they hated the game, but a lot of the time it was because they knew they couldn't give it the time of day that it needed. And while Arena is...
Again, I'm stopping in here because it depends on the perspective. If you want to have a fun night with the boys, you know, just 5 people, all random with the boys on Discord, 1 or 2 games, sure, why not? But if you want to have fun in the game, but if you're taking this game seriously and you have a full-time job and you're an adult and you have adulting things in real life, then naturally you cannot dedicate all of that time to the climb, you know?
vastly different from Summoner's Rift, it's a completely different game, to be sure. At the end of the day,
I do enjoy League, but it consumes my time while I'm not doing anything. What would you be playing besides League? Fucking nothing, bro. I don't know. Honestly, don't know what I would do. Straight up, don't know what I would do. That's the scary part, bro. I hate this game with all my existence, but I don't know what I would do without it. Bro, that's kind of depressing.
if somebody just wants to play their favorite champ in a game they like, they can do that. They can stay within the League scene, they can still be a paying customer for Riot, and be involved enough to care about what's happening without feeling like they need to quit their job in order to play this game. Another positive of the mode is that when it's not going well, you aren't stuck in a game because teammates are holding the FF hostage. Games where I've been last place can be as short as 11 minutes. There's nobody AFK in base, rage splitting, taking your jungle camp, sitting in a bush instead of helping at objectives. It's actually been quite the trip going from Arena back to Rift just to realize how much BS truly happens in a normal play session of League because the community is so bad.
What do you mean bad? The most family-friendly community we have in gaming. I don't know any other game that has a community as friendly as League of Legends. That you know it, I know it, everyone knows it.
With accessibility being such a strong point for the mode that I've harped on, none of that would matter if the game itself wasn't fun. And the good news for Arena is that it's fun as hell, and the game takes a lot of skill. Mechanics take center stage with both duos working together to make incredible plays. Some of the most fun that I've had in League over the years have come from this mode in a very short amount of time, and I've seen some wild outplays. It's true that mechanics are the biggest factor in who wins Arena, but strategy isn't thrown out the window either. Your augments in your build are massively important, and players who think that they can just pick whatever they want and win based on their keyboard and mouse dexterity will quickly realize that that's not true. There is an element of luck with high-rolling certain augments on particular champions, just like we see in any card game or TFT, but a good player will know how to adapt based on what they get. You will get 2 rerolls per game, and if you end up using both of your rerolls on non-prismatics when there was a perfectly fine option for your champ, it's a mistake that a lot of people are going to make and be prone to at first. Some of the augments are wild and quite literally game-changing. It means that your build can be entirely adapted around it. Take for example Jeweled Gauntlet. This allows your spells to critically strike, and that scales with AP.
Yeah, this is perfectly balanced, especially on some champions like Veigar.
Seems weird at first, right? I mean, AP champions building crit? That's never really been a thing in League. However, there's a new item in the mode that is built for this, allowing you to spec heavily into these high burst builds.
Also, doesn't static shift give you a bit of ability power, or do you remove that part? No, they remove the AD part. It's only ability power, no? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But it also gives a crit strike.
There's even augments that give you a different summoner spell, and a chance to outplay your opponents with something like a Kindred ultimate. Rounds can be flipped on their head when a good player plays well, and that's exactly what some of the augments allow you to do. Not all of them are super complicated either, such as death.
No AP, only AD on static, big sad. Just had AP scaling. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When we had the cringed LeBlanc in the middle building static, when we had Veigar in the middle building static, just not building, just fucking rushing that.
Just being 50% attack speed. Arena does a nice job of integrating something that worked well in TFT with the augments, and even though RNG does play a role here, which may deter some players, the skill of these systems comes from learning how to work with what the game gives you. It's a knowledge check and a form of strategy that lets you outsmart your opponents in a game that desperately needed some way to not just be completely determined by mechanics. The final pro that I would like to talk about before getting into the negatives is the arena itself, or more precisely, the multiple arenas. This extra little bit of complexity and to some degree randomness makes every game of Arena feel different, and even though the augments already do a good job of mixing things up, if there was only one layout and no map objectives aside from the plant, I think it would get pretty stale.
Yeah, straight up, I never thought about it. But if we would have only one map instead of what we have, 3 maps or 4 maps in Arena? I'm pretty sure 3 maps. But if we would have only one map, or rather quickly, no? 4. Yeah, okay, 4.
Now on to the negatives of the video, and I think there are a few, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you guys want me to
Arena, says Cassiopeia. God. Yeah, there we go, the meta slaves.
Talk about first. The meta. The champions at the top are broken and unbeatable. Kai'Sa, Taric, Kayle, Annie, Teemo, Zyra, Shaco, and Yorick.
Yep.
There's no counterplay, and they completely break the mode. Right? Well, yeah, but also sort of no. The unfortunate truth is that Arena is more unbalanced than Summoner's Rift without.
I mean, to deal with the god tier picks in here, what you have to do is counter pick them, but you cannot counter pick anyone because you don't see what enemy team is picking. So that's RNG number 1, you have to get lucky. Then RNG number 2, you have to go with the proper build. RNG number 3, you have to get lucky with the rolls in there, you know, with the benefits. How do you call it? Bonus runes? Something like those that actually counter the god tier. And RNG number 4 or 5 at this point, you have to make sure no one else destroys you before you reach the finals. Augments, yeah, that's the word, yeah, these ones.
Question, but it is closer to being reasonable than you might think. I have played all kinds of different comps in this mode, and my match history doesn't have a single game of Heimerdinger, Teemo, Kayle, Shaco, Kayn, or
Rolls maps and add in games like Pyke, Samira, everything. Yeah, everything has to be perfect in here.
Taric. Playing with my friends, who are all, mind you, just average casual League gamers and none of them take rank seriously, we've been able to win with a multitude of different comps. However, the main issue is that Arena's balance is more skewed on both sides, with the highest win rate champions peaking at over a 60% win rate, and the lowest dipping around the low 30s.
Hold on, I'm curious, what's at the bottom?
Champions peaking at over a 60% win rate.
Ornn, not placed. Bard, 21% win rate, not bad. Rambus, 24%. Sion, 26. Cat, 25. Lovely, just lovely.
And the lowest dipping around the low 30s. And in comparison to Summoner's Rift, which has had more than a decade of balance decisions, so it's completely understandable, we've seldom seen champions with numbers like these. Over the years, only a few champions have reached above a 60% win rate on Rift, and we collectively agree that they're some of the most broken champions ever, and without question are elo inflating. Other times when champions drop below a 40% win rate, it's intentional from Riot, as they've effectively killed the champion for the purposes of readdressing their balance at a later date, and we've recently seen this with Zeri and Yuumi.
Yep.
A sub 40% win rate typically means a champion is almost unplayable, and there are numbers like these in Arena. The fact is, you are at a disadvantage when trying to play a for fun random pick against a duo who spams nothing but Taric and Kayle, Twitch Cassio, or Kai'Sa Annie. But disadvantages aside, as I said, it's closer to being reasonable than players think, and Riot has put in a huge amount of nerfs for certain champions and are continuing to do so. They are balancing Arena and making adjustments, and I'll be going into this more later. So I thought that that would be the end of this section while writing the script. I truly felt that I was just going to leave it at that, and Riot should continue to make their balance changes and everything will work itself out.
Holy sh**, bro, they actually spent a lot of time, a lot of nerfs and adjustments in here. I didn't even think Riot was working on Arena. I just thought they released it as is, and that's it. The more you know.
All be fine in the end, but then one night, I ran into Rank 1 NA, and I saw what they were doing.
Show me. What were
Over
you
the
doing?
course of 10 days, the Rank 1 player played 169 games of
Bro, that is a very healthy ratio.
Janna with an absurd win rate of 160-9. After nearly 200 rounds, they were able to sustain a win rate of 95%. The combo is Janna Kindred, and it is quite literally impossible to beat unless they massively low roll and other duos are playing S+ tier teams and high roll
I mean, my cancer combo in here, Timo Shaco, they won against those.
everything. Once I saw this firsthand, I immediately had to rethink this script, the video as a whole, and my entire thought process on the mode. And it also doesn't help that there is some kind of manipulation going on here, as this account that plays Janna is never with the same duo for more than a maximum of about 9 games.
Why?
Most of the time, the account that is playing Kindred is swapped out about every 5 games or so. I don't know if this is done to somehow get the games into a lower rating on average, or if it's to dodge lobbies in case either of the champions get banned, but something weird is going on here. When I first learned that Arena,
Or maybe, just maybe, an unthinkable thing is happening here. Maybe this Janna has a lot of friends. Just maybe.
was going to have a ranking system, I didn't think it was a problem, and largely because I was hoping that the mode would take skill, which it definitely does, and I thought that it might help it for the long term, giving players something to strive for. If you think the mode shouldn't have a ranking system, you're more than welcome to that opinion, and I think that's totally fine. But remember, it was likely going to have a ranking system regardless, it just would have been invisible, because skill-based matchmaking is the norm in modern gaming.
Yep.
Even in normal
Yeah, even in normal games, yeah, that's what we have. I remember one of my first accounts that I was playing in bronze. Yeah, in ranked I was playing in bronze. My normal MMR was playing against diamonds, so that was fun. I contacted Riot support, I emailed them, I said, Riot, what the fuck is going on? Whenever I'm playing on ranked games, I am playing in bronze. I'm playing maybe in silver at best. But whenever I play normal games, whenever I'm buying a new champion and want to try out a champion in a normal game, why am I playing against diamonds? Riot says, well, it's quite simple, bro. We have MMR matchmaking, ranking the thing for ranked games, and we have a different MMR for normal games. So there's that. Good luck.
draft on Rift, it still has a ranking system, it still has an MMR, you just can't see it. Skill-based matchmaking is the norm in modern competitive gaming for a reason. The ELO system, invented for chess, is a good idea and a great way to judge player skill. It may not be perfect, but it is the optimal way to ensure that players are in a bracket that they belong in. So by putting in a ranking system, all Riot is essentially doing is showing you your MMR, and I thought that that was totally fine. But then after sleeping on it, I have to be honest, I think something needs to change. Even if Janna and Kindred are both nerfed, I don't think that solves an underlying problem, since they will just probably abuse the next unbeatable combo. There have already been posts about players saying that they're upset with the balance, they're burnout.
Losing interest with the arena by placing the same champions every game. It feels like similar to other RGM in the past. Instantly fun game mode comes out, people play the heck out of mode. Meta is from the champs that can be do best in the mode. These feel love Jen. Yeah, because number 4, obviously people lose interest in the mode because it's no longer fun. Games no longer has enough population to continue and is shelved. At this perfect summary, not gonna lie.
Out on the mode, and they think it may not survive for the long term. And it's understandable, especially if people were grinding it non-stop and constantly playing every day.
Yep.
But it really does have me thinking here, because the truth is that all of these alternate game modes have not survived the long term. The reason that Riot has removed them and they haven't been in the game and they're not permanent is because we have proven as players that we don't consistently play anything besides ARAM and Summoner's Rift. And of course, the million-dollar question is, why is that? What about ARAM specifically has allowed it to survive the long term as the premier alternate and casual mode?
because it was created by the players. Same thing happened to League of Legends Summoner's Rift 5v5. Initially, it was Defense of the Ancients in Warcraft 3. That was a custom mode. It was created by the players, not created by the company, who is kinda out of touch with reality. ARAM was also created in Summoner's Rift. People would just go all random picks and all would go middle. That was created by the player base.
Is it the randomness? Is the random champion select the reason that ARAM has survived? Would ARAM have died many years ago if you could pick your champion? I don't really know the answer to that, but what I do know is that I thought a lot about a potentially alternate system.
Yeah, if you can pick your champion, yeah, it would die instantly, because metas will start to form. You either go 5 long-range champions, Zerav, Jhin, Morgana, Lux, Ziggs, for example, maybe throw in Caitlyn in there somewhere, and you just zerg the fucking Nexus in the span of 10 minutes, or you just go full team comp, frontline, backline supports, you know?
Where this mode, Arena, could actually have some randomness to it, and I don't think it necessarily has to be full random either. Maybe one person on your team has to play a random champion. Once we load into Champion Select, the bans will go off as normal, and then after the bans are done, the player who has the random role will get a random champion. And maybe we could use the reroll system from ARAM. This one player is going to be forced to play some kind of random champ. Maybe they'll get something they're good at, and maybe they won't.
Sounds good. It will not work because people will take this to Twitter instantly and they will do what people on Twitter do. They will complain. Why is it that my pre-made or not my pre-made or someone who is in my team has the power to select the champion he wants to play and I am stuck in here with King Sion who has 29% win rate? That doesn't seem fair, Riot. And then we're canceling Riot, simple as that.
But then the teammate who has standard is allowed to pick whatever they want and they can pick around that. So in the case that they actually do get some kind of enchanter, if this duo would like to play Kindred, they can do that. Or what could happen is that the carry player could just pick any kind of carry or reroll until they get something that does damage, and then the other player, if they still want to pick the Janna, they can do that. I'm not full of myself to believe that I've just somehow found the solution and I have all the answers, because
just make everyone random. Like in ARAM, same way in here. Make sure everyone is random. Then sounds like a better solution.
Obviously,
Yeah, now think about it, bro, because everything is RNG based. Enemy teams, RNG based. Your team, RNG based. Builds, RNG based. Map, RNG based. Augments, RNG based. The King Champions on the map like Samira, Pike, and whatnot and set, RNG based. Maybe this could work. Just saying.
I don't, and I'm not a game designer, but something about the idea that a player has to be able to build around whatever their teammate got, and the ability to play multiple different styles and multiple different champions. Is it really all that impressive to just play 150 straight games of the same thing that feels like it has no counterplay? I don't know. A random system may not be the best for the ranked or competitive side of things, and it might not make the latter the most interesting, but at least to me personally, and I do feel like to most casual players, they don't even really care about the arena.
If you want to try hard, play the regular arena. If you want to have fun, make all random. Yeah, this could be a solution.
Ladder, just like we've proven over the years that people don't care about an ARAM ladder either. If I were a writer and I were in charge of this mode, I would want it to be the most casual friendly as possible and allow it to survive for the long term. The least of my concerns would be the health of the ranked ladder, and the most important thing, to me anyway, would be player retention.
Makes
For
sense.
the final section of this video, there was a recent AMA done by the Riot team that actually worked on Arena that I think gives some solid insights on what their thoughts are on the mode and can allow us as a community to better understand where their head's at and where Arena is headed for the future. I've compiled some of the best questions that I saw from the Reddit AMA and allowed us to kind of go over them together and see what Riot is thinking. The most important question, and something that I wanted to understand as well that somebody had asked, is what are some of the biggest lessons the design team learned after launch? And the writer who responded said, I think I underestimated how quickly a meta would form around the top picks. Of course I expected players to gravitate towards the strong champions, but I wasn't quite prepared for the preponderance of things like Shaco Heimer comps when we hit PBE.
Why not? Totally natural, no? Because in this game mode, I said before, I'll say it again, you want to play the Cancer combos, same way you're playing Cancer and Earth. Same way, if I had the power to pick champions in ARAM, I would go for cancer combos in there as well.
We have a ton of things to test in development in a variety of skill levels as well, so it's tough to find and properly assess everything to get ahead of it. We knew Tarek was going to dominate, for example, and we had seen the Shaco Teemo comps in our test, but we underestimated just how prevalent they would be. While I think I get where they're coming from, to underestimate the League of Legends community being sweaty and tryharding, yeah, I mean, come on, we knew that this was going to happen. I think this is a little bit of a goof from them to not understand just how the League of Legends community operates, but anyway, at least they're addressing the problem. Are there any plans to address the really annoying Poppy and Alistar comp that stalls out the entire round and then tries to push you out of the ring at the end? The ability to play new and diverse styles that may not look like anything in Summoner's Rift is one of the primary appeals of Arena, so by default we don't want to punish weird playstyles. That doesn't mean we get to throw out any consideration for good gameplay though, and we've definitely had some strategies that toe or even cross that line. The trap comps as mentioned above, as well as these ring out strategies, can be frustrating to play against, and if you experience them in 50% of your games, you're probably going to get tired of it real quick. Ultimately, I think we have to...
I mean, if you're dealing with them in more than 50% of your games, how about the No Riot implements a ban feature that you can ban Alistar Poppy. Oh wait, we have that. I know.
Stern in the limiting power of any strategy that incentivizes you to not interact with your opponents for the majority of the round and make sure that they aren't the most powerful thing to do. Poppy Alistar also just hits you with a ton of CC on top of it, but both of those champions will be getting nerfed for Arena in 13-15.
Nice.
This was an interesting question as well because it's something that I had thought of and I honestly thought would shake up the meta a lot. Any plans on having a weekly banned champion list to shake up the meta? We haven't decided.
The idea itself, have a weekly ban list of the champions, but in week 1, this wouldn't work. Week 1, you're banning Janna Kindred, for example, by default. Sure, there goes next week. Week number 2, the bans are Poppy Alistar. What you're going to pick? King Janna Kindred, and you rotate with Will is the best.
Every detail of what we want Champion Select to look like for long-term in Arena. All I'll say here is that restrictions like this could be on the table in a world where we have a separate ranked and unranked queues, but I'm pretty confident we will...
Yeah, that's the idea. Separate ranked and unranked queues. That's what you propose in the chat.
We'll always want to have at least one queue where you can pick your favorite champion, no questions asked. I found this entirely fascinating and very interesting because it seems like they may even potentially look at unranked Arena, and what would be really cool is that if in unranked Arena, maybe there could actually be, you know, no bans at all or whatever, and you could just pick whatever since it doesn't really matter, and maybe people won't take it as seriously. Either way, that would be pretty cool.
See, 2 minutes ago you were talking about how kids are sweating in League of Legends and taking everything seriously, and now you expect people not to take it seriously? For example, Janna Kindred are open? Hello? Keep the bans. Just say, keep the bans.
Cool, but in a world where we have ranked Arena, yeah, honestly, it would be kind of cool to have a per patch ban list of maybe 8 to 12 champions that are just not allowed to be played whatsoever, and then the initial bans on top of that in order to shake up the meta. Anyway, let me know what you think about Arena and this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to let me know in the comments down below and keep the discussion going. Leave a like and subscribe as it helps me out with the algorithm and helps videos like this get recommended. It's a little thing that can go a long way and it's really appreciated. So please, if you enjoyed, hit the like button and leave a comment.
Yeah.
And I'll see you guys in my next video.
We can do that. For my boy Exil, we can do anything. But yeah, the thing is that we're talking about is that this game mode is rather relatively new. So we need to give it time to experiment around it, because right now we need to move away from meta, and by suggesting that we have the unranked mode. So you know, it's still fresh from the oven. This game mode is still fresh. Anything can happen. Anyway, that's the video.